Hi guys, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. We really hope that you can have a lot to take back from this about how to manage type 2 diabetes and stubborn weight issues. So we want to start with a poll. I am just going to launch the poll right now. If you guys can just reply to the poll. Basically, what we want to understand is that I'm sure that everybody who's joined this has had आपने ट्राई किया होगा वेट लॉस के लिए या टाइप 2 डायबिटीज के लिए, चाहे वो जिम हो, डाइटिंग हो, सप्लीमेंट्स हो, योगा हो, इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग, जो भी ट्रेंड में होगा. वी जस्ट वांट टू गेट अ सेंस ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि आपने क्या क्या चीजें ट्राई की है टू गेट healthier. Okay, I can already see results coming in. Gym and dieting are our top contenders. Okay, that's great. So now that I can see that we have definitely tried these things, now I want to ask you, have these things successfully helped you to achieve the health goals that you want to? You can reply in the chat box, is yes or no. Okay, I think, okay. Rahul ji has told us he doesn't have diabetes, he just wants to be healthy. That is great. Vivek ji has told us no, he has not achieved the desired results. Okay, Neha Jain has told us yes, but unable to sustain. All right. So I think this pretty much covers the kind of answers that we were looking for. So what we want to discuss in today's webinar and this interactive session, Digambar, if you can just take to the next slide. Right. So basically, at Fitterfly, while designing clinically validated programs that are trusted by doctors and 15,000 Indians to manage their health, what we have realized is that these are the 7 factors that are most important in designing and sustaining healthy habits to go from having the good intention to get healthy and to actually getting results. So these are the pointers that we will be discussing in today's interactive session. Okay, let me quickly introduce the speakers. Today we have with us Dr. Shefali Bharadwaj, who is Head of Program Design at Fitterfly. And we have Neha Verma, who is a clinical psychologist and she heads the psychology department. And me, Hina, I am the Senior Content Manager at Fitterfly, and I am also personally enrolled in a type 2 diabetes management program because I was diagnosed with diabetes about 6 months ago. So starting with Neha, what I wanted to, Digama, can you go to the next screen, please? Okay, with popular demand, Dr. Shefali and Neha, if you guys can just open your video. Yeah.
Hina,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Can you please end the poll?
Yeah, done.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So Neha, being a clinical psychologist, this is definitely your area of expertise. So what I wanted to understand from you is how important is motivation when it comes to managing a health condition such as type 2 diabetes or stubborn weight, or in general for people who are trying to get healthy. जैसे कि कुछ लोग यहाँ हैं जिनको कोई health condition नहीं है, but they just want to become healthier individuals. So how important is motivation for something like that?
Sure. A very good evening to everyone. And let me, to answer your question, Hina, let me first explain everyone what is motivation, because a lot of us sometimes misunderstand or, हम confuse कर जाते हैं exactly समझने में कि motivation क्या है. So technically speaking, motivation is a process that enables you to act. So a simple act of getting and going and getting a glass of water for yourself when you feel thirsty, or maybe reading a book to gain more knowledge about a certain topic, all of this requires motivation, some reason from within which can drive you to a particular action. Okay. Now, when it comes to managing health conditions like diabetes or obesity, finding your motivation is the key. So one should ask these questions, to yourself, like, why do you want to become healthy? Or why is it that now you have started thinking about your health so much, as you were not doing maybe 6 months back? Is it that you want to look thin and bright? Or is it that you're tired of taking your medicines? Or is it that there are so many people who've been pointing out that it's high time you need to lose weight? Or you want to gain more confidence from within and be more healthy? So finding an answer to these questions can actually help you understand what can motivate you. And then you can notice a major change in your actions, in your behavior, and how basically a motivation can lead you to do something and achieve something in life.
While I believe that is true, what I want to understand from you is motivation enough? Because I mean, just a couple of days ago, I was at the theater with my sister and we had gone to watch a movie. And when I went to the restroom and I saw myself, from the side in the mirror, and I looked at myself and I was like, okay, I can't recognize myself anymore. And even though I am on a health management program, what I realized is that I need to work much harder and, be more disciplined. So I feel like, I don't know, although if that, feeling of motivation would last in the next 24 or 48 hours. So what I want to ask you is that, is motivation enough by itself?
So what you said, Hina, I think that can be experienced by most of us. One fine day when you happen to step on a weighing machine and you just cannot believe the figures which you see right there. Or maybe while reading a newspaper, you come across an article which talks about various health complications that have become so common among people. And suddenly it strikes you that, you need to focus on your health. Or maybe when you don't fit into your favorite clothes, or when a friend cracks a joke around your recently acquired double chin. All of these are triggers that may demotivate you. And there can be so many other emotions that may be running through your mind at that time, like anger, frustration, irritation, or guilt. So the fact is that motivation is a very natural trait which keeps fluctuating. Sometimes it can be high, sometimes it can be low. And this is precisely why you need to work on your motivation levels in order to achieve something that is as complex as maybe losing weight or reducing your sugars. So just like somebody now commented that they've been trying things but not been able to sustain it, and motivation could be one of the reasons why probably it could not be sustained for a long time. So yes, motivation is not enough. A lot of other things are required along with it, but focus on motivation is equally important.
I understand. I think that one of the things that you're talking about is, I think mental blocks, because there are a lot of people, like you just rightly mentioned, and we had somebody comment कि मतलब जैसे कि अब fit होना है तो कपड़े खरीद लिए, जूते खरीद लिए, gym की membership ले ली. But उसके बाद also they are not able to push themselves कि ठीक है daily सुबह उठ के जाना है. मतलब we see so many memes and so many funny videos on this. How does that play a role? Like how can somebody deal with this kind of a mental block when they are trying to get healthier?
So mental blocks can be many, and why we say that mental thoughts can be blocking your way in your journey to be healthy is because mind and body are linked to each other. And mental mirrors the physical. What जो आप सोचते हो वो आपके body में manifest करता है. Right. And when it comes to health, if you can shift the way you think about becoming healthy, that is the turning point. And the great news is that once your mind shifts, everything else follows. So let me share some interesting examples of some of my patients. So one of them was advised strength training by our fitness expert for around 4 days in a week. And in my session, he told me that he just can't do it. And the reason was that he's never worked out in the last 10 years. And all he's been doing for fitness is walking. So he asked me, very, very genuinely, he asked me that if I'm walking almost an hour a day, isn't I'm physically fit, or is it that not enough? So this is where I could identify a mental block in him related to working out, wherein this thought kept, haunting inside in his mind that I can't. And walking, probably he needs to understand that what type of exercise is going to have an effect on his body, and maybe walking is just not enough. Similarly, there was another patient who joined the program and told me the very first day that he can't give up on the food he loves to eat, like burger, chicken, all sorts of namkeens. And he was like, you give me as many pills as you can, but I can't give up on my cravings.
Okay.
So this again was a mental block, because following a healthy diet doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up on all your favorite food items, or maybe, it's about balancing it and having everything in moderation. So it's not about strictly following something for regularly 3 months and then forgetting and going back to square one. It's
Right.
about making such changes in your lifestyle that can stay with you forever. So, these kind of mental blocks, they do act as a hindrance sometimes while we want to make some healthy changes in our lifestyle, but we are unable to. And that's where, talking to a professional, trying to identify these mental blocks really helps.
I think what you've mentioned is really important. And I think that is connected to a very essential aspect, which is next on our agenda, which is assessment. One of the reasons why these overly restrictive diets, I feel like they don't work, or, because they have these short-term goals. Like for my from personal experience, I remember 2 saal pehle, I think there was this huge trend of Tabata. It was like the new style of, high intensity workout. And I remember going to a Tabata class, and I ended the class by throwing up and going home in extreme pain. And I never went back to that class ever again, because it was just such a miserable experience. So I just wanted to understand from you, Dr. Shefali, being that you're head of a program designer at Fitterfly, then how important, do you think assessment is a role? But before you answer that question, I want to ask the people that are attending the webinar, ki aapke saath kya kabhi aisa hua hai ki aapne, you've tried something new, whether it is the diet, whether it is, one of those beach body diets or wedding season diets or exercise plans that you tried to do, but it basically ended up probably having the opposite effect because it was just a generic plan. Has this happened to any of you guys? Okay, yes. So good to know that I'm not alone in this. So Dr. Shefali, I would just like you to take this forward and, enlighten us on how important assessment is when it comes to, creating a plan for something like this. Digambar, if you could just take to the next slide.
Right, Hina. So I think that's a very good question, and I'm glad you're asking me this. So in your case here, when you went to your Tabata class, your instructor should have ideally assessed your fitness levels and then taken a call on how intense your first day or your first session should be. Now,
Right.
without these initial assessment, you were put straight onto intense exercises, which left you feeling miserable at the end of the class. हुआ क्या? आपको class याद है, but आप वापस नहीं गए. आपने खुद ही बोला अभी.
Right.
Right? So you had the right motivation, लेकिन आपके उस motivation को सही guidance नहीं मिला. Right? So what happened? You were not able to stick to the exercise plan. Otherwise, if you know, I mean, I'm sure you know that's why you went to a Tabata class. It's a high intensity exercise. People have been getting great results with this.
Right.
Right? So this initial phase is very, very important when a person is trying to build a new habit. Right? Abhi starting mein aap Tabata class se dar gaye, aapko, you threw up and you did not go back. Whereas
Right.
if the instructor would have assessed that I need to give very, very simple exercises to Hina to start with, you would have gone again and then again and then again. Right? So making it easy at this stage will ensure that people stick to the plans, they
Right.
have their small wins, and they remain motivated. Starting with a detailed initial assessment tells us exactly where you are in terms of, since we're talking about all the aspects of diabetes management, not just fitness. So where do you stand in terms of your nutrition, in terms of your fitness, and all the other important aspects? This becomes the basis of what we build for the people.
Right.
So for example, in my initial assessment, if I find out that the person has never exercised prior, I'm not going to tell him that straight go to 45 minutes of exercise, no matter how desirable this is, because I know he's not going to stick to it. I'll say start with 10, go to 20, then do 30.
Right, completely. In fact, my own physiotherapy assessment, I remember when I had my assessment, after the initial assessment, I expected to be given an exercise plan. But then in the following call that I had with my physiotherapist coach, I was told that I'm not being given an exercise plan for, the period of 1 month. And the reason for that was that I had not exercised in a really long time. and giving me an exercise plan right now would be more detrimental. And I also had pain because of diabetes, like I had severe heel pain. So I was just told to just try to become a little more active in general, and then that I would be given my exercise plan a month later.
Right, so you were put on a pain management program. Right, because the physiotherapist assessed that right now you are not ready. It's better that you take a month's rest and then come back and continue forever, rather than start something right now in 10-15 days, probably have an injury, God forbids, and then have breaks and then again feel कि यार मुझसे नहीं हो रहा, इस बार भी नहीं हो रहा.
Right.
So that's the importance of assessment, if that answers your question. तो अभी अगर हम न्यूट्रिशन की बात करें तो उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं, your likes or dislikes. Many people have some allergies.
Right.
Your work timings are different. The availability of food options around you is different. Medical condition is very important that needs to be considered. All of these are very important. Even fitness की तो हमने बात कर ही ली. Now then when we talk about psychology, Neha is actually the best person to comment on this. But we know that we all have our own different stressors. We all have our own different thresholds, right, Neha?
Absolutely, Shefali. And stress levels को assess करना अपने खुद के insight के लिए बहुत जरूरी होता है, क्योंकि हमारे लाइफ में कई बारी इतने सारी चीजें होती हैं जिनके बारे में हम कभी खुद से सोचते भी नहीं है. जैसे कि मेरे साथ 1-2 पेशेंट्स ऐसे आए जहाँ पे उनका हमने असेसमेंट किया, लेकिन जब उनसे पूछा कि आपको एग्जैक्टली क्या प्रॉब्लम है, तो उनको सिर्फ इतना पता था कि मुझे डायबिटीज है. इसके आगे कोई और थॉट उनके माइंड में कभी आया भी नहीं था कि डायबिटीज का कनेक्शन कहीं मेरे स्ट्रेस लेवल से भी हो सकता है. बट जब हमने असेसमेंट किया तो हमें समझ आया कि स्ट्रेस है और काफी स्ट्रेस है. स्ट्रेस के साथ साथ माइल्ड डिप्रेसिव सिम्टम्स भी थे, और वो स्ट्रेस था फैमिली के कुछ इश्यूज की वजह से, एंड कुछ ऐसे कंसिस्टेंट थॉट्स थे जो माइंड में चलते जाते हैं, हम सोचते जाते हैं. ओवर थिंकिंग बहुत लोगों की टेंडेंसी होती है, बट कभी लोग ये नहीं समझ पाते कि वो ओवर थिंकिंग कब उनके हेल्थ पे अफेक्ट करने लग रही है. So assessment does help to tailor our intervention strategy based on what the stressors the person has and where exactly we need to make a difference.
Correct. So basically people are different. कोई अच्छा खा रहा है, एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर रहा और उसको स्ट्रेस बहुत है. अब कोई और है who is eating healthy but he's not exercising at all और उसको स्ट्रेस भी इतना नहीं है. तो जब तक हम इनिशियल असेसमेंट नहीं करेंगे ना, हमें पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि हमें करना क्या है, हमारा नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या होने वाला है एज एन एक्सपर्ट, व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प दीस पीपल. सो दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ इनिशियल असेसमेंट. आई होप आई आंसर योर क्वेश्चन.
Hina, you're on mute.
Hina, you're on mute.
I'm so sorry. I think यहाँ पे जो नेहा ने बात बोली ओवर थिंकिंग की, I am an overthinker personally, और आज के डेट में इतनी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल है हर जगह पे कि आपको हेल्दी होने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, and there are so many generic diet plans and workout plans that you get. तो कभी कभार मोटिवेशन होने के बावजूद ये समझ में नहीं आता कि आप किस तरीके से उस पाथ पे आगे बढ़े. तो एक प्लान होना, एक स्ट्रक्चर प्लान होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो डॉक्टर शिवाली, because you design plans, what I want to ask you is that have you seen like a stark difference कि जो लोग बिना प्लान के अपना ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन शुरू करते हैं और जो लोग एक स्ट्रक्चर प्लान के साथ शुरू करते हैं, उनमें आपने उनके रिजल्ट्स में आपने कोई डिफरेंस देखा है?
बिल्कुल देखा है. And as the famous saying goes, a goal without a plan is just a wish. We all have a lot of wishes, right? It's good to have a wish, but you need to have a plan to fulfill the wish. Better nahi fulfill hone wala hai. And you already answered the question. You said a plan is so important after what Neha said. Right. So at Fitterfly, what we do is that the basis to all the planning that we do, or all the plans that we make for our members, they are all created based on the initial assessment results we conduct with them.
Right.
Whether it is assessing which food impacts their blood glucose levels, or how much, or what are the food choices they want to make, they don't want to make. Like how Neha said, one client came and straight said कि मुझे दवाइयाँ दे दो, मेरे को खाना बंद करने के लिए मत बोलना. Right. तो ये हमें पता कैसे चला? जब हमने इनिशियल असेसमेंट किया, कुरेद के उनसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे How ready are you, so all those things impact a lot. And there is one concept that I want to talk to you about here, which is called as PGR, personalized glycemic response. This itself is a huge topic, Hina, to cover, but to tell you in a nutshell, this is how we assess which food affects your blood glucose level by how much. Right? So it's a common understanding that chapati is better than rice, especially in case of diabetes. आपने भी ये सुना होगा, पिछले 6 महीने में बहुत बार सुना होगा.
हाँ, I have diabetes. I'm sure हमारे audience ने भी सुना होगा कि diabetes वालों के लिए चावल तो एकदम बिल्कुल गलती से भी नहीं खाना चाहिए.
Correct. लेकिन जो PGR study हमने की है अपने members के साथ, that shows us otherwise. We have had cases where the blood glucose responses were considerably high with wheat chapati, but not as much with rice for some people. And for some people, it holds true. Now, even which fruit affects your blood glucose level, all that also we see. So, not only you need to, and the foods that are suitable for you, only they will be put in your plan for you to have, right? So it's not necessary that you have to give up all the foods that people commonly just term as non-diabetes friendly. You don't have to do that. You need to find out that.
I know. So I was on the program where I got the CGMS sensor. Basically, एक छोटा सा patch होता है जो यहाँ आपके बाजू पे लगाया जाता है, and it's completely it's pain free. मतलब जैसा किसी injection में feel होता है उससे भी कम feel होता है. तो that was there on my arm for 2 weeks. And पहले हफ्ते में ये पता चला कि मेरी एक आदत थी कि मैं अपने खाने के साथ fruits खाना पसंद करती हूँ, जिसके वजह से my sugar levels used to spike very high after my meals. And when I got the report and I was told that, and I made that adjustment, कि I stopped having fruits with my meal and I started having them beach mein snacks, it immediately, मतलब एक हफ्ते में you could see the difference in sugar levels post meals.
Absolutely. And like how you said, ki the fruit with the meal was causing a problem for you. So that fruit was not omitted. It was placed very strategically throughout your day. Right. So that also we come to know from the PGR study. And another thing about the sensor application, like how you said कि injection से भी कम दर्द होता है, actually पता भी नहीं चलता है कि आपका sensor application हो चुकी है.
Yes.
Right? It's hardly, I think, just 2-second application.
Yeah,
right?
Because you have the trained technician who comes in and puts it, so it's like a very seamless process. Yeah,
it's absolutely seamless. And also at Fitterfly, once a member joins us, they are assigned a care team. इस care team में होता कौन है? So now in this care team, you have experts from nutrition, from physiotherapy, and from psychology field, with who you have timely interaction. So the progress is tracked and timely the corrections are made, the improvisations are made as and when needed, right? और आपकी जो care team होती है, that is going to give you personalized plans, which will take into consideration, as I already mentioned, your likes, your dislikes, your allergy, your work timing, availability of food, your fitness level, availability of the infrastructure to do the exercises.
Right.
All of these things are also taken care of.
So these are the things you would say that makes the treatment very safe and easy to follow.
Yes. So this makes our program safe. It makes it easy to follow. And also all our programs have been designed by in-house experts in conjunction with a board of experienced doctors. So it is definitely clinically validated.
I understand. So now that we have established, planning, I think the next thing that comes to mind definitely is, habits. I feel like कि क्या आप लोगों के साथ कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि ठीक है अब आपने सोच लिया कि अब healthy होना है, तो I remember I used to have like this acidity का problem. तो मेरे पापा ने मुझे जीरा पानी पीने के लिए बोला था सुबह सुबह उठ के, because he follows naturopathy a lot. तो I did that 2-3 दिन के लिए, and I felt really good, but उसके बाद I couldn't unfortunately follow that habit. So has this happened to you guys कि आप कुछ नया शुरू करते हैं but वो ज्यादा दिन तक चल नहीं पाता है for whatever reason? कुछ ना कुछ मतलब उसके बाद बहाने निकल जाते हैं, legitimate बहाने भी हो सकते हैं जो निकल जाते हैं जिसकी वजह से आप उसको follow नहीं कर पाए. Does this happen? I think Ashwin is raising his hand to speak.
Hina, I think people are also requesting to continue in Hindi. तो हमें शायद हिंदी में ही continue करना चाहिए as much as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I am okay. Rahul ji ne हमें बोला कि he is very religious with good and bad habits. That is also a problem. सिर्फ good habits के साथ अगर you are religious, so that is good. But if also with bad habits, then that is definitely problematic. Okay. Neha, given that this is your expertise, what I want to ask you is कि what is the secret to form lasting habits?
So to answer that question, मैं सबसे पहले ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि हैबिट्स फॉर्म कैसे होती हैं, और जैसा अभी इन्होंने लिखा भी कि गुड एंड बैड हैबिट्स दोनों के लिए इज वेरी रिलीजियस, उसके पीछे भी एक रीजन है. सो आप कोई भी एक ऐसा दिन इमेजिन करो, एक एग्जांपल है छोटा सा कि सपोज आप काम से वापस घर जा रहे हैं एंड घर जाते ही आपने अपने लिए चाय बनाई और आपने जो भी 2-3 बिस्किट्स उस चाय के साथ आपने खाए. तो आपका जो माइंड है वो अपने आप ये कनेक्शन बिठाता है बिटवीन द सिचुएशन, व्हाट वाज देयर, द कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड द बिहेवियर. तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट ये था कि आप काम से थक के घर वापस आए थे और आपका बिहेवियर ये था कि आपको चाय की जरूरत है, तो आपने चाय पी और उसके साथ आपने 2 या 3 बिस्किट खाए. तो थोड़े टाइम बाद जब आप लगातार इस चीज को 4-5-6 दिन 10 दिन 20 दिन आप करते जाते हैं, तो आपका माइंड कंडीशन हो जाता है ये समझने के लिए कि अब घर जाने का मतलब चाय. तो वो कहते हैं ना चाय की हुड़क उठना, वो अक्सर लोगों में ऐसी एक हैबिट बन जाती है कि माइंड ही कंडीशन हो गया होता है कि ये जब सिचुएशन आएगी तो उसमें मुझे यही चाहिए. एंड दैट्स हाउ हैबिट्स आर फॉर्म्ड. नाउ कुछ हैबिट्स अच्छी होती हैं और कुछ बुरी होती हैं, लेकिन इसका एनालिसिस कैसे किया जाए कि कौन सी अच्छी हैं और कौन सी नहीं है. ऑफ कोर्स उसके लिए एक एक्सपर्ट चाहिए जिसको पूरी नॉलेज हो कि आपके हेल्थ के लिए कौन सी सही हैबिट्स हैं और कौन सी ऐसी हैबिट्स हैं जो आपको रिप्लेस करनी चाहिए विद हेल्दी वंस. एंड यहाँ पर बिहेवियर थेरेपी कम्स इनटू पिक्चर, वेयरइन आइडेंटिफाइंग कि वो कौन सी पुअर हैबिट्स हैं, सबसे पहले तो ये जरूरी है. एंड सेकेंडली आपका खुद का एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल जरूरी है कि हाँ ये चीज मुझे चेंज करनी है, तभी उसको चेंज करने की मोटिवेशन आएगी. वरना किसी ने बोला और आपने चेंज किया तो वो सिर्फ 2 या 3 दिन के लिए होगा और वापस से बैक टू स्क्वायर वन हो जाएगा. सो यहाँ पे एक एग्जाम्पल भी है जो मैं शेयर करना चाहती हूँ. शी इज अ वेरी यंग वुमन, पेशेंट ऑफ माइंड, मदर ऑफ 2, एंड वो एक स्कूल टीचर के जैसे स्कूल में काम कर रहे हैं. शी टीचेस मैथ्स टू 9th and 10th स्टैंडर्ड. तो जब वो आई सेशन में तो उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि मैंने सब कुछ ट्राई किया है इस अर्थ पे अपना वेट लूज करने के लिए, लेकिन मैं कभी भी सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो पाई. और उसका रीजन मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन उन्होंने मुझसे ये पूछा कि आप ऐसा कौन सा मैजिक करोगे जिससे कि मेरा वेट कम हो जाएगा. तो मैंने उनका जवाब एक सवाल के रूप में ही दिया और उनसे मैंने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा कि आप मुझे ये बताओ कि अगर आपको एक चांस दिया जाए कि आपको अपने अंदर की कोई एक चीज बदलनी है, तो आप क्या बदलना चाहोगे? व्हाट इज इट दैट वन थिंग दैट यू वुड वांट टू चेंज विद इन यू? एंड शी वॉज क्वाइट प्रॉम्प्ट इन आंसरिंग कि मैं बहुत ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बनना चाहती हूँ. मेरी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यह है दैट आई लैक टाइम मैनेजमेंट, और सब कुछ मेरे माइंड में इतना क्योटिक हो जाता है, इतनी सारी चीजें मुझे मैनेज करनी होती हैं कि उस क्योस में मैं भूल जाती हूँ कि मुझे कब क्या खाना है. काम में बिजी हूँ तो काम ही करती रह जाती हूँ. बीच में स्नैक्स खाना था या मैंने एक टाइम टेबल बनाया था अपने लिए, वो मुझे फॉलो करना था, वो सब याद ही नहीं रहता. और अल्टीमेटली फिर पूरा मतलब वॉक पे जाना है, अलार्म सेट किया, अलार्म बंद करके कुछ और करने लग गई, एंड इट गोज ऑल हैपहैज़र्ड. तो मैंने उनसे दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये पूछा कि क्या आपको लगता है कि ये एक पॉसिबल रीजन हो सकता है कि आप इतने सालों से जो ट्राई कर रहे थे वेट लूज करने का वो नहीं हो पाया पॉसिबल? और उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि मे बी यस. तो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, मैंने सिर्फ 2 क्वेश्चंस के जरिए उनके अंदर एक इंसाइट बिल्ड करने की कोशिश की कि शायद ये आप ही की एक बैड हैबिट है या पुअर हैबिट है जिसको हमें चेंज करने की जरूरत है. और ये इंसाइट डेवलप करने के लिए एक प्रोफेशनल अप्रोच चाहिए, कोई ऐसा चाहिए जिससे आप ये सब शेयर कर सको और जो आपको हेल्प कर सके आपकी अनहेल्दी हैबिट्स आइडेंटिफाई करने में, और फिर एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड जर्नी के थ्रू न्यू और हेल्दी हैबिट्स डेवलप कर सके. और इसको हम क्लिनिकली इंटेंसिव बिहेवियर थेरेपी कहते हैं, जो कि आजकल एक बहुत ही साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन टेक्निक है और काफी एक्सटेंसिवली यूज हो रही है अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, स्पेशली फॉर वेट लॉस. क्योंकि वेट लॉस के लिए एक बिहेवियर चेंज की जरूरत है, एक एटीट्यूड में चेंज लाने की जरूरत है, तब हम एक अच्छी हेल्थ की तरफ आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. So it's all about making small and doable changes in your lifestyle, which can be sustained over a long period of time. And habit building is a very important part of it.
Suresh ji here just replied to the chat, and he said that he's taking medicine morning and night for diabetes control. But he is thinking about how to control his psychological issue because he's feeling nervous sometimes, but his sugar levels are in control. Suresh ji, I think that, you know, a lot of us don't know that stress can actually physically affect your blood sugar levels by affecting the hormone that is known as cortisol. And I should not know this because I'm not a doctor, but how I know this is through the expert guidance and the coaching that you get at Fitterfly, you know, which is given by people that are not just customer experience experts, but they themselves are, you know, psychologists or nutritionists and you know, physiotherapists. Because I also have you know, जैसे कि मैंने पहले भी बताया, overthinking और stress eating की problem. तो अगर मुझे कोई मैसेज भी कर देना कि तुमसे बाद में इसके बारे में बात करनी है, तो मुझे स्ट्रेस हो जाता है. And my immediate you know thing that I would do, like my response to that would be to go and eat something which is definitely not healthy. So this was one of the first things that I discussed with my psychologist you know, during my assessments. And not only this, even when it comes to you know, I would say personally for me, मेरे साथ ऐसा होता था कि 4-5 बजे के आसपास, while I was still having fruit with my meals, 4-5 बजे के आसपास I used to start feeling really hungry, and I used to start feeling very angry because of my hunger, because मैंने अभी just 2 घंटे पहले खाना खाया है और उसके बाद मुझे suddenly भूख लग रही है, and उस टाइम कुछ खाने के लिए नहीं मिलता था, तो मैं बहुत irritate हो जाती थी. तो what so I used to think कि my blood sugar levels are actually dropping. But when I discussed this with my nutritionist coach, she told me that whenever you feel like this is psychological, and you need to get a glucometer and you need to physically check if your blood sugar is actually low. अगर आपका blood sugar low होगा, तो it should be below 70. अगर वो सच में low है, then you need to eat, you know, a simple form of sugar. It's called a 15-15 rule. कि आप 15 ग्राम simplest form में sugar खाइए और 15 मिनट रुकिए और उसके बाद दोबारा अपना blood sugar level check कीजिए, you know, to know whether it is stabilized or not. So this kind of information and this kind of support and expert guidance can only come when you are, you know, doing this health management with the people that are trained to, you know, also educate you as you go forward. And I think that is something that really impacts sustaining, कि आगे जाके भी आप इसको तब follow कर पाएंगे जब आपको पता है कि आपके साथ क्या हो रहा है. डॉक्टर शेफाली ने कुछ टाइम पहले एक यू नो काफी अच्छा कोट बोला था, मैं भी एक कोट बोल देती हूँ. बेसिकली वो ये है कि यू नो, गिव अ मैन अ फिश एंड ही विल ईट फॉर 1 day, एंड टीच अ मैन हाउ टू फिश एंड ही विल ईट फॉर ऑल हिज डेज. So I think the kind of expert support and guidance that we get at Fitterfly, that allows us to sustain these habits. So Sureshi, we can you know, connect after the webinar and help you out with this issue. For now, I think the next bit that is very important in this kind of management program is progress tracking. So the question that I have for the audience is कि आपके लिए आप किस चीज को progress consider करते हैं? मतलब अगर आपका weight loss हुआ है, अगर आपको पहले जैसी cravings नहीं हो रही हैं, या you know, अगर आपको अब आपका weight जो है वो कम लग रहा है, आप ज्यादा energetic feel कर रहे हैं, तो अगर आप मुझे चैट में बता सके कि किस चीज को देख के आपको ऐसा लगता है कि ठीक है, आई थिंक नाउ व्हाटएवर आई एम डूइंग इज वर्किंग. मेरे लिए पर्सनली इट इज यू नो, क्लोथ्स फिटिंग बेटर, खास करके शादी वगैरह वाली सीजन्स में. I think for Suresh ji, it would be to feel like, you know, he's not stressed about his blood sugar levels or his medication anymore. So Neha, what I want to ask you was that how important do you think progress tracking is, you know, in undertaking a journey like this? And and how does it impact habit forming? To see that, you know, what you're doing is working or what you're doing is not working. How does it impact forming habits?
So tracking progress, I mean what you want to say is that जो भी हम अपने पूरे दिन के रूटीन में कर रहे हैं अपने हेल्थ के लिए, चाहे वो मेडिसिन खाना हो या फिर whatever we are eating in breakfast, lunch, dinner, midday snacks, या फिर हमने जो भी एक्सरसाइज किया, कितने स्टेप्स चला, these days we even have fitness trackers, तो कितने घंटे हमने मे बी वॉक किया, ये सब कुछ एक जगह पर लॉग करना और फिर उसको ट्रैक करना, ये काफी बेनिफिशियल हो सकता है। और इसके बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स हैं। सबसे पहले तो ये कि ये आपको बहुत अकाउंटेबल बनाता है आपके खुद के एफर्ट्स के लिए। सो आप खुद रिस्पॉन्सिबल फील करते हैं, एंड आई मीन यू डू थिंग्स नॉट जस्ट बिकॉज योर कोच हैज टोल्ड यू टू डू इट, यू डू इट बिकॉज यू फील अकाउंटेबल फॉर इट, यू फील रिस्पॉन्सिबल कि ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है और मुझे इसको एफिशिएंसी के साथ करना है।
Right.
और एक बहुत ही अच्छा इफेक्ट ट्रैकिंग प्रोग्रेस का जो मैंने देखा है पेशेंट्स में, वो ये कि दे बिकम मोर एफिशिएंट विद टाइम। अपने आप वो एफिशिएंसी आती है। जैसे मेरे एक पेशेंट ने मुझे काफी स्केप्टिकल थे वो इस तरह से हमारे ऐप के ऊपर सब चीजें लॉक करने के लिए, एंड उन्होंने मुझसे ये बोला भी सेशन में कि आई डोंट हैव सो मच ऑफ टाइम फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, एंड सेकेंडली मुझे ये बहुत बोरिंग लगेगा हर वक्त नोट डाउन करते रहना कि मैंने क्या खाया है कि नहीं खाया है एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट। सो आई जस्ट टोल्ड हिम कि आप सिर्फ 20 डेज के लिए ये ट्राई करके देखो, अगर आपको अच्छा नहीं लगा या हेल्पफुल नहीं लगा तो आप छोड़ देना। एंड ही अग्री टू इट। सो उन्होंने 20 दिन बाद जब मेरा फॉलोअप हुआ तो उन्होंने मुझे ये बताया कि ये जो टेक्निक आपने बोली ये एक्चुअली मैजिकल थी, क्योंकि हम सबको लगता है कि जो हम करना चाहते हैं वो हमारे माइंड में है तो हम कर ही लेंगे।
Right.
लेकिन इतनी सारी चीजें हमारे डे में होती चली जाती हैं कि हमें याद ही नहीं रहता हमने क्या किया था। एंड छोटी छोटी डिटेल्स जो कि ट्रैकिंग की वजह से पता चलती हैं, जैसे कि मैंने कितने कैलोरीज आज पूरे दिन में खाए या कितने कैलोरीज मैंने आज पूरे दिन में बर्न किए, और उससे मैं अपना कल का दिन कैसे प्लान करूं और कितना समय मुझे किस चीज को देने की जरूरत है, ये सारी चीजें ट्रैकिंग से हमें समझ में आती हैं।
तो
और अगर
what are the ways जिससे मतलब what is an easy way to do it to track the progress?
So अभी तक तो जब तक ये फिटनेस एप्स और ऐप बेस्ड ट्रैकिंग नहीं आया था तब तक तो ट्रेडिशनल वे में हम डायरी मेंटेन करते थे, और डायरी मेंटेन करने के लिए ही बोलते थे इन अ स्पेसिफिक फॉर्मेट, बट दैट यूज्ड टू बी वेरी टीडियस बिकॉज उसके लिए डायरी निकालो फिर लिखो, एंड पीपल यूज्ड टू फाइंड इट वेरी मोनोटोनस। फिर एक दिन भरा नहीं भरा, क्योंकि उसको मॉनिटर करने के लिए कोई भी नहीं है, वो डायरी आपकी है और कहीं पर रख के आप भूल भी गए तो आपको पता नहीं कहाँ गई। लेकिन ऐप में ट्रैकिंग जो अब होने लगी है उससे क्या हो रहा है कि एक तो लोग खुद नंबर के टर्म्स में काफी एफिशिएंट हो गए हैं, उनको नंबर्स में कैलकुलेशंस में चीजें समझ में आती हैं, दे आर एबल टू कंपेयर कि कल कितना खाया था, आज कितना खाया, कितना वॉक किया। और फिटनेस ट्रैकर्स आ गए हैं तो आपको पूरे दिन में ये पता चलता है आपने कितने स्टेप्स चले, and that really acts as a motivation, if by the end of the day you see कि आज मैंने 6000 steps चला है, तो आपको खुद शायद रियलाइज नहीं हुआ होगा कि आपने कब 6000 स्टेप्स चल लिए, लेकिन उस ट्रैकर को या अपनी प्रोग्रेस को मॉनिटर करने के वक्त आपको ये मोटिवेशन लगती है कि हाँ मैंने आज काफी कुछ किया, एंड दैट एड्स ऑन टू योर मोटिवेशन द नेक्स्ट डे। और इसका सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज है अगर आपके पास एक कोच है जो कि आपको गाइड कर रहे हैं कि आपको कब क्या खाना है, चाहे वो न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट हो या फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट हो, तो इवन साइकोलॉजिस्ट हो, तो आपको ये सब चीजें ट्रैकिंग करने में the coach will be able to make you better understand where you need to improve.
Right.
And most importantly, if there's somebody to monitor it, so you will not miss it. तो वो जो छोटी छोटी चीजें कहीं पर छूट जाती हैं वो भी नहीं रहती हैं। So I think tracking हैबिट बिल्डिंग में बहुत हेल्प करता है और खुद को मोटिवेटेड रखने में, ट्रैक पे रखने में बहुत हेल्प करता है। ज्यादातर लोग जब ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स ज्वाइन करते हैं तो शुरू के 15 डेज काफी एक्साइटेड रहते हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद धीरे धीरे थोड़ा सा मोनोटोनस लगने लगता है या डल हो जाता है, एंड उस टाइम पर ये ट्रैकिंग आपको वापस बैक ऑन ट्रैक लेके आ सकती है।
राइट, एंड आई थिंक दैट इज such an important point जो आपने coaching और progress tracking की बात बोली, because so I started my program in the new year because of course उस time पे resolutions बनाने का पूरा माहौल होता है, तो जितने रेजोल्यूशंस दिल में होती हैं वो सब आई थिंक एक बार में जैसे ही न्यू ईयर का सेलिब्रेशन खत्म होता है वो बाहर निकलने लगते हैं। तो आई स्टार्टेड इन जनवरी एंड फेब्रुअरी में आई हैड एंड आई वाज वेरी रेगुलर, लाइक आई वाज लॉगिंग माय मील्स, माय ब्लड शुगर एंट्रीज, एवरीथिंग, एंड फेब्रुअरी में आई हैड some personal issue because of which I was not able to do it। तो मैंने कुछ दिन जब लॉग नहीं किया तो I got a call from all all 3 coaches very surprisingly, and सबने पूछा कि is everything okay, मतलब you were adding everything and now you're not doing it, तो कुछ issue है. And then I told them, and then I got to know कि the beauty of this plan is how much it accounts for all the scenarios that are possible. क्योंकि of course हम सबके साथ कुछ ना कुछ issue हो सकता है जिसकी वजह से हम किसी चीज को properly नहीं follow कर पाए कुछ दिनों के लिए, 3-4 दिन के लिए, कभी काम का stress है या कुछ personal issue है. तो you can pause Fitterfly's programs for 15 days and then you can start off and you can get support from coaches and the experts to get back on track, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. मतलब वो जो 15 दिन add होते हैं आपकी program में, उसके लिए you don't have to make any additional payments, and that is so great because to get that kind of a support system, because मतलब having something like type 2 diabetes itself is very stressful, or being overweight or having stubborn weight issues, because kitne sare health complications hote hain uske. So to get this kind of support system, I think is extremely important, and it really helps you get back on track. वरना कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम कोई डाइट शुरू करते हैं और एक बार भी गलती से अगर हमने कुछ अनहेल्दी खा लिया तो हमें लगता है ठीक है अब तो जाने ही दो, अब फिर से दोबारा मतलब start से एकदम शुरू करेंगे. So I think getting back on track becomes much easier when you have the kind of hand-holding coaching that we have. Thank you for that insight, Neha. So now I want to ask our audiences, are there any questions that you have that you would like to ask Dr. Shefali or Neha specifically? This is a good time to ask those questions and we can, answer them live.
So yeah, there's one question from Mr. Rahul Sundar, which I would like to take up.
Sure.
So he's saying, I have tried eating healthy, but with the pandemic, I have ordered a lot through Zomato, etc., and then working out more. So Mr. Rahul, I'd like to compliment you that, as per your own understanding, you are trying to compensate. राइट बट कई बार क्या होता है ना, हम लोग सोचते हैं, जैसे आपने लिखा है पैंडेमिक के कारण आपने बहुत ज्यादा बाहर से ऑर्डर किया है, तो ये मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, अगर गलत है तो आप प्लीज कमेंट्स में डाल दीजिएगा यहाँ पे कि आप शायद घर पे प्रिपेयर नहीं कर पा रहे या हाउस हेल्प नहीं आ रही या वॉट एवर इज द रीजन. Now, when you join a program like Fitterfly, or what happens here is कि आपके जो coaches हैं, nutrition coach यहाँ पे, वो आपको इस तरह से चीजें समझाएगी कि whether you are ordering from outside or you're making at home, you will know what you have to choose, right? Because a lot of times we think कि घर का खाना ही हमारे पास बहुत लोग आते हैं जो बोलते हैं कि हम तो घर का ही खाते हैं तो वो अच्छा ही खा रहे होंगे. बट सी, खाना का मतलब होता है कि आपको उससे रिक्वायर्ड न्यूट्रिशन मिल रहा है क्या. घर पे आपने अगर सिर्फ रोटी सब्जी खा ली है, उसमें प्रोटीन नहीं आया, उसमें फाइबर नहीं आया, तो वो हेल्दी खाना नहीं रहा. So even if you're ordering from outside, or even if you're eating from outside, what you need to know is what choice am I making? So somebody needs to be there to tell you this. So I hope I've answered your question. So you don't have to feel guilty about ordering from Zomato unless you're ordering things that make you feel guilty, which may be out of sheer ignorance, because you don't know about it. So programs like these will help you understand how to make the right choices.
Right. So before we take the next question, I want to tell our audiences that we've shared a link with you on the chat, which will, where you can go and you can enter your information. अगर आपको लगता है कोई ऐसा question है जो आप अभी live नहीं पूछना चाहते, तो आप वहाँ पे जाके अपनी information दे सकते हैं, and one of our experts will call you back and we can answer your question there. I think Neha, we should take Suresh's question here, where he was talking about how to control this psychological issue of feeling nervous. Even though his blood sugars are in control, he is still feeling very nervous about his condition. So if you could help him with the answer.
Yeah. So blood sugars are in control because of medication. Stress is there, and maybe you are feeling nervous and mentally not so fit, and there are psychological reasons for that. But for you to, nervousness can have a major impact on your sugars. The day you stop taking medicines or you miss your medicine, the sugars may go haywire. So mind और body का connection तो है, ये मैंने explain किया, लेकिन nervousness को handle करने के लिए specific relaxation techniques आती हैं. जो कि आपकी स्पेसिफिक कंडीशन पे आपको सिखाई जाती हैं, और उसके जरिए यू लर्न हाउ टू, इन डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस यू लर्न हाउ टू कंट्रोल योर एंजाइटी एंड नर्वसनेस. सो जब वो सिम्टोमैटिकली रिड्यूस होती है नर्वसनेस, उसकी वजह से जो बॉडी के अंदर फिजिकल चेंजेस होते हैं, वो अल्टीमेटली जाके नेचुरल वे में आपके शुगर्स को कंट्रोल करते हैं, एंड नॉट जस्ट मेडिकेशंस. So that's precisely why we say that taking care of your mental health is equally important as it is to focus on your physical health, because you don't even know so many aspects of your thinking, of your cognition can be impacting your physical health.
Right. Suresh ji, I hope कि आपको अपना जवाब मिला. Rahul ji said that correct, ma'am. And then I try to go on a caloric deficit, and then there is a birthday and anniversary that comes up. So Neha, if you could answer, how to sort of, it is very difficult. I remember, going through one of the videos that was shared with me on diabetes, जहाँ पे बात हो रही थी why psychological coaching is so important. कि मतलब आप किसी के घर जाओ और वो आपको समोसा दे दे, आप किसी बर्थडे पे जाओ और वो आपको केक दे दे, तो उसको ना बोलने में बहुत ज्यादा विल पावर लगती है, खास करके मतलब if you have back to back events coming up. तो how to tackle something like that when you are trying to get healthy?
ये बहुत कॉमन एक्सपीरियंस होता है लोगों का, कि हम ना नहीं बोल पाते हैं, एंड समटाइम्स इवन वी फील लाइक ईटिंग इट. let's accept that feeling, that कभी बहुत टाइम बाद ऐसे दिखे तो खाने का मन भी करता है, and we should not deny that feeling, we should accept it. And खा भी लिया तो it should not be followed by guilt. The first and foremost thing is कि अगर आपने खा भी लिया तो it's okay. Your acceptance of a set of feelings is more important, and later you can do a lot to compensate for what you've eaten in the party. नेक्स्ट डे आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो ताकि वो वन समोसा दैट यू ईटन डज नॉट मेक दैट मच इम्पैक्ट ऑन योर बॉडी. लेकिन अगर आपने उसकी वजह से गिल्टी फील किया तो इतने सारे और कॉम्प्लिकेशंस आपके माइंड में पैदा हो जाएंगे जो आपके अगले आने वाले एक हफ्ते को डिस्टर्ब कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज वन. एंड सेकेंड इज हाउ टू से नो. सो नो बोलने के टाइम पर हमारे माइंड में एक बहुत ही अनकॉन्शियस सा थॉट ये आता है कि दूसरा मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेगा अगर मैंने उसे मना किया तो, और यही थॉट अक्सर हमें नो बोलने नहीं देता है. तो वहां पे थोड़ा सा assertive होना, at the same time trying to handle that situation diplomatically, if one has that kind of insight, it becomes easy for you to simply say a no, and at the same time support your statement with a reason that why you are saying a no to it. And ultimately it's your health, so taking that decision is your call.
Okay. Guys, do we have any other questions? We are just Ashwin, I think you had raised your hand while we were discussing. If you have any questions, this is a great time to ask.
Yeah, so as Rahul has written that a friend of his has bulimia and he eats it, but then she pukes it. And bulimia is a clinical condition which requires proper attention, care, treatment, and medication, because it is a more serious level of trying to eat at the same time, a dilemma of not eating.
Right.
So counseling is required for bulimia, but counseling may also be required with people who do face these guilts often. कि मुझे नहीं खाना चाहिए था पर मैंने खा लिया, और उस मोमेंट में अपने आप को कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाना, उन क्रेविंग्स को कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाना, ये हम सबके साथ नॉर्मली भी होता है. इसके लिए कोई क्लिनिकल कंडीशन जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन थोड़ा सा उस पे काम करने से हम क्रेविंग्स को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं.
Okay, all right. I think Digambar, we can move on to the next slide. So I think what we want to show you is that I am definitely not the only one who has good things to say about the program, being on it myself. So we wanted to just show you a couple of people that have completed the program successfully and what has been their feedback. So we'll just play two of these videos for you. Yeah, the camera, you can play.
I was very skeptical of this program because everything was online. I was just thinking what can a phone call do, but it has worked wonders for me. Hi, my name is Manali. I'm 25 years old. and I'm currently doing MBA. I got diagnosed with diabetes around 3 years back. You know what Diabefly does? They will give you facts in front of you, like this is your report card of life. When I saw how bad my body was doing, I got scared. Firstly, I talked to my coach and I told her that this is really scaring me. But she was always motivating. She always told me not to worry, only to follow whatever she's saying. I used to update my food diary every day, so that my coach could know what I'm doing, what I'm eating. I would definitely recommend Diabefly to others because this has really changed my life, and it literally it's really changed. I was a different person altogether when I joined this Diabefly program, and I'm leaving a different person altogether.
Okay, Digambar, we can go to the next slide, the one after this.
I was very
Yeah, we can share this as a link with our audience. You can go to the next slide.
My 3 months average sugar level was 9, and that's quite a high figure concerning. While 3 months down the line, I could reach 6.8, which is excellent control on the diabetes. My target now is to get below 6.4, and I'm pretty sure I'll achieve it in next 3 months if I continue with
So guys, based on this discussion, I think everything that you've understood, and what we want to say is that having had so many people, that we've treated, and learning from those experiences and constantly evolving our process, and, having this program being designed by leading experts in India and using digital therapeutics, जो कि काफी एक नया innovation है. How our program is designed is that it basically is meant to give you these things. सबसे पहले तो जैसा कि नेहा ने कहा, during the program there's a app that you get which tracks everything that is going on with you. If you are using the other version, there are 2 versions of the program, one in which you use a glucometer जो कि घर पे blood sugar measure करने की जो machine होती है, and the other is the one in which you have the CGM device जिसके बारे में मैंने आपको webinar के start में बताया था. And for both of these things, you can track your results in the app that we have. Everybody that joins the program has 3 dedicated coaches that they get, 1 nutritionist, 1 physiotherapist, and 1 psychologist. All of these are qualified, and trained. Then you have, traditional plans to manage whether it is diabetes or weight, mostly only focus on exercise and diet. But we know from research that these are not the only factors that affect, sleep, stress, pain management. All of these factors impact your results and the creation of your plan. So you also have consults with that. And like I said, in terms of knowledge, it is very important to understand कि आपको क्या health condition है, और आपका program खत्म होने के बाद भी आप उसको सही से manage कर पाए. उसके लिए you have access to content in the form of booklets, in the form of courses, in the form of webinars, and apart from that, if you come to us directly, or if you come to us through a doctor, yeah, even if you come to us directly and आपका कोई doctor है, so we regularly prepare progress reports ताकि आप भी इसको देख सकें और समझ सकें कि आप कितना आगे आए हैं from when you started the program. And you can also share it with your doctors, your family doctors, or your primary care physicians, ताकि they can also keep a track on your progress and adjust your medication and everything accordingly. So this is basically what Fitterfly's programs are like. So Digambar, if you could just go to the next screen, I could just talk about the inclusions. Yeah. So this is Diabefly Pro, which is our program. I think we had shared the link for the calculator. So that will tell us which program is best for you. Or if you go to the landing page and if you leave your contact details, we can connect with you, have an initial assessment and understand what programs are best for you. So here you get the CGM device. This is the CGM device jo technician aake laga ke jate hain. And you get a personalized diet plan. Basically, you get 3 diet plans which evolve as and when you progress in your journey of 3 months. There is an advanced nutrition report जो कि जब हम initially आपका data collect करते हैं उसके बाद हमें पता चलता है. At home sensor application जो कि मैंने आपको बताया. 3 consultations होते हैं आपके with a stress and sleep management coach who's from Neha's team. 8 consultations with your primary coach which is for nutrition because it's the most important factors. And finally 4 consultations with a fitness coach, educational modules and unlimited access to app and chat. So anytime you have any issues, कभी आप किसी रेस्टोरेंट में बाहर है और आपको पता नहीं है कि अब यहाँ पे क्या चूज करूं खाने के लिए, उस वक्त भी if you send a message to your coach and you're like ठीक है, I'm here and this is this is the kind of place that I'm at and what should I eat, they can literally help you guide you there as well. So we have a special offer that we are running for the people that are attending this webinar because you've taken time out from a busy day. So we've shared the payment links with you in the chat. You can just go through that and sign yourself up for this program. Digambar, if you could go to the next slide. So the previous one was applicable for type 2 diabetes. This is for people that have stubborn weight issues or obesity. Again, here also you get 5 consults with a stress and sleep management coach because like we said that, stress and sleep affect your hormones and your hormones affect your appetite, your physical health. And that is why it's very important to assess these things. Apart from that, there are 8 consultations with the reset coach or the nutritionist. There are 4 consultations with the fitness coach. Again, there is an advanced nutrition report based on what Dr. Shefali was talking about, which is, meal mapping and personalized glycemic response. कि आप जो खाना खा रहे हैं उससे आपकी body पे कैसा effect पड़ रहा है उसके हिसाब से. There are 4 personalized weight loss diet plans and there's educational content as well as there's unlimited chat support in this also. यहाँ पे भी, as you can see, the actual price is 11,999, but we have a special offer for you because you've joined our webinar today. So the payment links are in the chat support. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. This has been great. It was wonderful to interact with you guys and to answer your questions. And I just want to thank our speakers, Dr. Shefali and Dr. Neha, for taking out time and answering the questions that people had. And in case of anything, we've mentioned our contact details. Please reach out to us there and we'll be able to answer all your queries. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.